Microsoft doesn't work with new hardware very often.
What are those wooden things? Chairs?
Howdy y'all, welcome to the DIY channel, or welcome back to the DIY channel. I'm really impressed with how well this $20 Facebook Marketplace computer runs.
Dit voor grandpas.
But it's just a bit boring and bland. So let's customize the heck out of it.
Run down, turn around, kill a herd of zombies.
This case was released in 2003, but in 2006 you could get it with a window. So I got some plexi. Cops already know what I'm about to do. I'm gonna stick that window in this here side panel. So I don't want to cut into our nice locking devices, and I don't want to cut into our slots. 10mm. So we're 420. Ha! What are the chances, guys? The set out is the most important part. Make sure you measure twice and cut once. Be 440, 440, 410, 410. So I want to eyeball it. Perfect. Perfect. I'm going to use diamond blade because it's nice and thin, and it's good for cutting alloy as well. Find the diamonds just a bit safer. Air protection goes a long way. So I find the best way to cut through stuff isn't just to buzz right through it, because you get to the end and it's a very weak point. So what you're better to do is run across your line to score it in, and then hit the very end right through, and then you come back and cut right through it. This way you know you're following a nice straight line, and it makes it more easy to not lose the end or bend the end. And you should definitely be wearing a mask. This stuff is not nice to breathe. So I guess if you just hold your breath, you're not breathing it right. And yes, don't do as I do. Do as I say, because I'm an idiot. Look, my grinder doesn't even have a safety guard. Looks good to me. When it comes to cutting the aluminium, I don't want it to heat up too much, so I just do multiple passes, making sure that when I feel it getting hot, I move to the next side. And once I'm all the way through, I clean the burrs on the back, because I don't mind if the grinder scuffs the back, you won't see it. But on the front, I'll file it out. There's no substitute for hand tools. They are far more precise and do a much cleaner job. This is looking really good. So that would be 15mm there. Yeah, I think that'll be alright. 15mm. Draw our lines. I'm going to rivet the window in, so to make everything look factory, we need nice straight lines. I think we go 4 on there. So this side's slightly shorter, and then this side will be 5. So centre of centre. So half of 420 will be 210. Half of 210 will be 105. 100, 200, 386. Just smash the like if you know what a 386 is. 128.6, 128.6, and then our middle should be 128. First thing I'm going to do, center punch. Now it's super easy to drill our holes in a precise manner. I'll drill all the side panel first and then tape the plexi in place so that when we drill that it won't move. And then we can take it out to clean it all up, and then we'll pop rivet it in. Alright, time to pop some rivets. Very happy with that. It's solid too. Does she fit? Oh yeah. Sweet. The main reason I bought this computer was I wanted a spare CPU and a floppy disk drive. It worked out cheaper than buying a CPU and a floppy disk drive. These will be great in my Windows XP Dream build, seeing as I'm always overclocking the heck out of it. For instance, this dual core is running at 4.3 gigahertz, a whole gigahertz higher than it's meant to. And yes, I've had the odd crash, but after getting it tuned in, She's well under 60 degrees and runs solid for hours of gaming. Oh, look at that, we crashed. We need more voltage on our CPU. But then after rebuilding it, I sort of fell in love with it and thought, you know what, let's give it a new lease on life, and why not give it to one of you guys? So let's do a 2006 tribute build, because right here I have the 2006 CPU of the year, the Intel Core 2 Duo E6600. This chip was renowned for its overclocking capabilities. Putting the CPU in, make sure there's nothing in the pins, and you have notches. One notch there, one notch there. And in the socket, notch there, notch there. You'll also have a corner. That is indicated on the socket. Line them up. Carefully place it in. Hopefully I've got enough paste in here for one more cooler. Looks like there is. Hold it down firmly, pop them in. Solid. This beast of a GPU from 2006, the 8800 GTX, this was the most powerful GPU in that year, but when we put it in here, you won't even see it, will you? So why not set this up on a riser? Go red, same color as the motherboard. Trust me on this one, guys, you don't want your GPU riser coming loose. Sure, you might get some pretty colours, but you won't be having a good time. This socket's really cool because you can hook a cable tie under it real easy. Go, that ain't going nowhere. Not bad. There it goes. Never mind this boring fan. 2006, we were all about the coloured fans. So I don't actually need this Molex connector on this fan, but I will need it later on. Not only we had some single colour fans, but we also had black lights. Problem. It only has 2 pins. Our GPU adapter needs 3 pins. Conveniently, we have this. So let's try take a pin out. We just push in the retainer and then they should just slide out. And we just need to flick them back out. So the fact this UV light, you can plug another Molex to it, is perfect because we need to run our other 6 pin off these 2 Molexes. That fits great. Thinking we're going to have to put it further back so that we don't have to cut a hole here. We need to put the graphics card in this slot, then we can just nip out the back of those. And we can get a screen in. Happy days. Now we know our GPU is gonna fit, let's give it some love and fully refurbish this thing. I tested this before in one of my old builds and it was getting some artifacting and some weird stuff happening. So let's make it like new. Let's take off the bracket tray. And these are little spring-loaded ones. Jiggle it. You're gonna want to remove all the heat pads and give this thing a good clean. Some alcohol, isopropyl. That has seen some heat, I'll tell you what. It's crazy to think that brand new you could get this card for $599. That would be like getting a 4090 today for under $1,000. Now that's nice and clean, let's let it dry and then we're gonna reflow the solder by baking it in the oven. And I'm going to have the oven preheated and I'm going to cook it upside down. Fan bake. We're on 145 degrees Celsius and I'm going to hit it for 10 minutes. Just make sure you clean your oven after. Going to use brand new heat pads. These old GPUs used to idle between 62 and 72 degrees and under load would run at 81 to 87 degrees. So having brand new heat pads and thermal paste will really help keep this cool. So the trick to getting your cooler really well aligned is don't do up all the screws all the way straight away. It's like a motherboard. You just put them in and once they're all in, you come back and tighten them all up for a final tighten. Really good contact. I can see all the heat pads are being crushed and it's just reattach the back plate, plug in the fan and we're ready to put this back in the PC. This thing only just fits too. It's like it's meant to be. And needless to say, this computer looks 100 times better. If I jump over into Windows XP, we can run a DX diag to see if our graphics card is still artifacting. So we can test our Direct 3D. Oh yeah, it's looking way better. No more little red square weird artifacts. Cool as. Let's do some gaming. Even though this graphics card's a lot older than the HD 7870, because we're on Gen 1 PCI Express, we don't really notice much of a difference. The game runs pretty much the same. If we jump over to the HD 7870, frame rates are basically within the margin of error. And this game looks great. Let's jump over to Windows 10. It's like Microsoft has done a dirty. Windows is not activated. Get Bill Gates in here! You told us we'll be able to upgrade our Windows 7 to Windows 10 for free. Can you just have to edit the registry? And our edition is Windows 10 Pro. And Windows 7 keys only work on Windows 10 Home. Why have they done this? Who knows? Let's just fix it. Let's go into Run, and we need to edit our registry. So if we type reg edit, user account control is so freaking annoying. User account control, there. And that's the last time I'll see that. Computer, H key local machine, software, Microsoft, and right down the bottom, Windows NT, current version. And in here we have our edition ID. Change that to Core. And our product name, we change Pro to Home. So now we have Windows 10 Home and Edition ID Core. Done. So just exit, and then you need to go to your installation media, your USB key, and run the setup. And we go to change our Windows setup, downloads, updates, and go not right now. Accept. So that worked. Install Windows 10 Home. If it still says Pro, you need to go back and modify those registry keys again. This took about 45 minutes on this old girl. Activation settings. Windows is activated. Now I set it up just how I like it. I'm going to stress test the heck out of it in one of my favorite games ever, Black Ops 2 Zombies. This card should be able to run it, even though this game's from 2012. This graphics card was incredibly powerful for its time. In fact, it was more powerful than two 7800s. And the 7800 GTX was no slouch. Just get a load of this graphical demo from the time. In fact, you've probably played on a 7800 GTX because they are in the PlayStation 3, which means our 8800 GTX is more powerful than two PlayStation 3 GPUs. Whoa, we're getting over 60 FPS in 1080p. 77 average. 19 1% lows, but heck, that's not bad. Only 75C. Wonder if I have Permanog. Yeah, I do. This system's happy as.
I know what this is for.
3 hours later.
Even at high rounds, this thing is running good. 77 degrees C on GPU, 58 degrees C on CPU. The CPU is pegged at 100%, which isn't really a big surprise. We could do some overclocking, but I'm just happy with it to be able to run. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. I hope to catch you on the next one.